For 20 years, I did everything right. I ate low fat. I avoided salt. I took the supplements my doctor recommended. I followed every single guideline on the pamphlet they handed me in the waiting room. And for 20 years, I was getting sicker. Not dramatically, not all at once, just slowly, quietly, invisibly worse. My name is Margaret, and the habits that were supposed to protect me were the ones destroying me. The worst part? My doctor knew. The industry knew. And nobody said a word. I grew up in a health-conscious family. My mother counted calories. My father jogged every morning. Health wasn't just a habit in our house, it was a religion. At 25, I had my first full checkup. The doctor smiled, handed me a pamphlet and said, "Eat low fat, reduce sodium, take a daily multivitamin, and you'll be fine." I followed those instructions like a contract. Low-fat yogurt every morning, low-fat salad dressings, fat-free cookies instead of regular ones. I replaced butter with margarine, because that's what the guidelines said. I took my multivitamin every single day without fail. I reduced salt so aggressively that I started using special low-sodium everything: bread, soup, even water supplements. For 10 years, I felt like I was winning. Then the headaches started. Then the fatigue that never went away. Then the weight gain, despite eating less fat than ever before. Then the diagnosis: chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalance, early signs of cardiovascular stress. I was 38 years old, and my body was falling apart. And I was following every rule they ever gave me. I went back to my doctor with a stack of test results. He looked at them, nodded slowly, and prescribed me 3 new medications. I asked, "But why is this happening? I've done everything right." He said, "Sometimes these things just happen." I sat in my car in the parking lot for 40 minutes. Something didn't add up. I had spent 20 years following the exact instructions of the medical establishment, and the medical establishment's answer was 3 more pills. That was the day I stopped trusting the pamphlet. I went home and started reading. Not the brochures from the waiting room, not the sponsored articles on health websites, the actual peer-reviewed studies, the research that never made it onto the evening news. What I found made me physically ill. Not from the food, from the betrayal. Margaret wasn't alone. In the same decade, across the same country, thousands of people were living the same story. James was 51, a marathon runner, perfect diet by every official standard. He had his first heart attack on a Tuesday morning after his regular low-fat breakfast. His cardiologist told him to eat less fat. Susan was 44, a teacher. She had followed low-sodium guidelines for 15 years on her doctor's advice. When she started experiencing severe fatigue and muscle cramps, her doctor ran tests. The results showed dangerously low sodium levels. Her doctor told her to reduce sodium further. Robert was 39. He spent 12 years taking every supplement his nutritionist recommended: vitamin C, vitamin E, beta-carotene, the full package. A 2019 meta-analysis of over 200,000 patients found that high-dose antioxidant supplements not only failed to prevent disease, in some cases, they accelerated it. Robert's nutritionist never mentioned that study. The nutritionist was also selling the supplements. 3 people, 3 doctors, 3 sets of official guidelines. 3 bodies slowly breaking down while doing everything right. This was not bad luck. This was the system working exactly as designed. Here is what they knew and didn't tell you. Fact 1. The low-fat diet guidelines were based on fraudulent science. In the 1960s, the Sugar Research Foundation, funded by the sugar industry, paid scientists to shift the blame for heart disease from sugar to fat. Those studies shaped official dietary guidelines for the next 50 years. The researchers were paid, the science was manipulated, and you were told to avoid fat. Fact 2. Margarine was far more dangerous than butter. The trans fats in margarine, the product pushed as the healthy alternative, were directly linked to heart disease, inflammation, and metabolic disorders. The FDA didn't ban partially hydrogenated oils until 2018. Margarine was sold as health food for 40 years. Fact 3. Most commercial multivitamins are clinically useless. Multiple large-scale studies have found that standard multivitamins provide no measurable health benefit for most people. Yet the supplement industry generates over $50 billion per year, largely built on the advice doctors casually hand out with every checkup. Fact 4. Low-sodium guidelines were applied too broadly. While reducing sodium helps people with specific hypertension conditions, aggressive low-sodium diets in healthy individuals have been linked to insulin resistance, increased stress hormones, and, ironically, higher cardiovascular risk. The guidelines were designed for sick patients and applied to everyone. Fact 5. Artificial sweeteners in diet products were never proven safe for long-term use before mass distribution. When the low-fat movement removed fat from food, manufacturers replaced it with sugar. When sugar became the enemy, they replaced it with artificial sweeteners: aspartame, sucralose, saccharin. These chemicals were approved based on short-term industry-funded studies. Long-term independent research has since linked them to disrupted gut bacteria, increased appetite, insulin resistance, and metabolic syndrome. The diet industry told you these products would help you lose weight. The research suggests they may have done the opposite. Fact 6. The doctors giving you this advice were taught from textbooks shaped by pharmaceutical funding. A 2017 study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that pharmaceutical companies spend more on marketing to physicians than on research and development, medical education, continuing professional development, conference sponsorships, all funded by the same companies that sell the treatments. Your doctor wasn't lying to you. Your doctor was repeating what they were taught. And what they were taught was written by people with something to sell. The food industry made billions replacing fat with sugar. The supplement industry made billions selling pills with no proven benefit. The pharmaceutical industry made billions treating the conditions that resulted. It wasn't a conspiracy. It was just business. And your health was the product. Margaret is 48 now. She eats butter. Real butter. She uses salt. Real salt, not the low-sodium substitute. She stopped taking the multivitamin and started getting actual blood work to see what her body specifically needed. Within 8 months of dropping the healthy guidelines, her inflammation markers dropped by 60%. Her energy returned. The headaches stopped. She didn't find a miracle diet. She just stopped following the one that was slowly making her sick. Does she regret the 20 years she spent doing everything right? Every day. But she's more angry than regretful. Angry that the guidelines she trusted were shaped by industries with a financial stake in her choices. Angry that her doctor handed her a pamphlet without ever questioning where it came from. Angry that nobody, not one person in 20 years, ever said, "Wait, let's actually look at the evidence." The guidelines weren't written to make you healthy. They were written by committees funded by the industries that profit from your confusion. If someone told you fat was the enemy, they had a reason. If someone told you salt would kill you, they had a reason. The question is, whose reason was it? Subscribe, because next week we expose the education myth that buried an entire generation in debt they were never meant to escape. The truth doesn't advertise itself, but we do.